Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're taking another look at construction on the Broadway Subway Project in November of 2025. For those of you who are new to this project, it's a 5.7 kilometer extension of the Millennium Line with 6 new stations in Vancouver, Canada. Major construction started in May of 2021 with an expected completion date in the fall of 2027 at a cost just under 3 billion Canadian dollars. We'll also take a brief look at some notable building developments along the route. Starting off at VCC-Clark, the 10-story mass timber structure directly beside it, known as the Hive, is nearing completion, with all of its exterior almost complete. Underneath the far end of the existing guideway, the area has been cleared of all construction materials. Up on the 700-meter elevated section, rail install has been completed on both tracks. Fine-tuning is the next step to ensure the rails are aligned correctly. Once that is done, the center linear induction rail will be the next element to be installed. In the center of the guideway between the two tracks, crews have been installing cable trays that carry communication and power cables. Once in place, panels will be put on top to protect the cables, and then a walkway with handrails will go on top of that. As we approach the switches for the center pocket track, we can see many cutouts in the track slabs. Some are for redirecting cables under the switches and tracks, while others are for switch elements. Zooming in on the swing nose switch, the connecting rods have been connected between the point and the switch machine. At Great Northern Way Emily Carr Station, the roof for the street level section of the head house is complete. Scaffolding for the pavilion that will be built on top is being set up. Soon, the site will be handed over to the developer to build 3 new towers and the public pavilion. Waterproofing is being applied to both the lower walls of the head house and the side of the station box. The short transition section between the tunnel portal and the station has also had more layers of waterproofing completed, although the portal itself still has some exposed rebar that will eventually be finished. And here's another look at the rails and cable trays as they dive down into the tunnels. Directly beside the station site, this empty pit known as Lot P has finally had an update. The plan is to build 3 35-story towers and 1 40-story tower, all sitting on a 6-story podium. 1,156 units of housing will be created just steps from the new station. Moving along to Mount Pleasant Station, the head house is covered in scaffolding and white plastic to keep the weather out as escalators are installed. From the backside, we can see the completed segments of exterior walls with rebar exposed that will be tied into the next sections. Down in the station box, crews are installing orange waterproof membrane on the roof. As a viewer explained in the comment section of the last video, the gray strips previously installed on the roof provide a way for the orange membrane to be bonded to the surface. It also breaks the roof into many smaller sealed off sections, so if a leak occurs, grout can be injected through pre-existing lines into the section to seal off any leaks. Workers place another strip of membrane over top of the joints between the larger panels to seal them off. Heat and pressure are used to bond the material together, creating a watertight seam. On top of that, a layer of black geotextile material is placed to protect the membrane from the backfill gravel. In other exciting news, Broadway will be closed to all traffic for about 4 months starting in January between Main and Ontario streets. This is to facilitate the removal of the road decks, backfilling the station box, and rebuilding the street. While this will be inconvenient for drivers, a complete closure is 50% faster compared to a partial closure. It's cheaper and safer for workers. There will be a faster bus-only detour route along 8th Avenue, down Quebec Street, and through this parking lot. At Broadway-City Hall, backfilling has begun on the crossover section east of the station. Gravel is delivered by dump trucks and then unloaded by an excavator and dropped down into the pit. A skid steer then picks up a bucket load and places it gently on top of the black geotextile material. A worker holds a gauge to get the correct thickness. After being distributed, a plate compactor is used to compact the layer. On the west side of the station, where the southbound Canada Line platform connects to the Millennium Line concourse level, the main slab for the Canada Line platform level has been poured. There is a large blank space where the elevator will pass through the slab. On the south end, crews are preparing rebar and formwork for the exterior walls. Once those walls are in place, the roof will be built closing this area in. On the east side of the station entrance, the angled roof slab above where the escalators will be installed has been poured. This is for access between the Canada Line northbound platform level and Millennium Line concourse. The open area directly beside it is for a pair of elevators. The station will have 5 new elevators and 12 new escalators when done. The station box roof has had another few sections completed, with the rebar in place for the next pour. It's hard to get a good look at it as it's almost entirely covered by the road deck. Behind the entrance, concrete is being flown overhead in a bucket by a mobile crane. We're not sure what exactly it's for, but it's neat to watch. As of September, rail has been fully installed between VCC-Clark and Broadway-City Hall. Oak-VGH is another station that has a completed station box with the final sections poured this summer. Just like the other completed stations, waterproofing will be the next stage of construction. The ventilation shafts are being built up on the east end of the station box. Here's a photo from inside the station with workers laying out rebar for the center platform. The head house has had several sections of exterior walls completed at street level. Inside the station, non-load-bearing walls are being built out of cinder blocks. Each station has a lot of little rooms inside that are built with cinder block walls instead of concrete, as it's cheaper, faster, and still meets structural requirements. Oak-VGH also has a very plain head house design. That's to make it easier in the future when larger buildings are developed over top and incorporate the head house. Every station along the line is designed with this in mind. At South Granville Station, it's another similar story with a fully completed roof on the station box. On top, there are piles of conduit and cable trays ready to be installed in the station, as well as disused forms ready to be craned out. There are bits of rebar sticking out around the road deck piles. It looks like they will be tied into the station box instead of being removed. The sidewalk beside the station below the new 39-story tower is now partially open. It gives us a good view of the escalators that were installed last year from street level down to the concourse level. And there was an open door to one of the retail spaces, so of course we had to peek in. Over at Arbutus station, workers are setting up forms for the last section of roof right by the tunnel entrance. This area was left open to allow access for tunnel construction activities. Further along, the crossover box has been partially backfilled and compacted. We can see the bulldozer and roller used. On the west end of the station box, crews are still working on the interior walls on the concourse level. The final section of street level slab at the head house is having rebar installed. The large holes on the north end of the head house are for ventilation. Some of the large fans were installed over the summer. Usually the vents exhaust out through grates in the sidewalk, but here they go through the building so that when another larger building is built over top, the vents can be connected and passed up through to the roof. If all goes to plan, this line will be open to the public in under 2 years, so we're getting pretty close. Anyways, that concludes our look at construction on the Broadway Subway Project in November 2025. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.